For over 4 decades, Antiques Roadshow has been a comforting ritual, a gentle parade of forgotten treasures and attic junk, where family heirlooms are given a price tag and a place in history. The show operates on a simple, predictable premise. An object is presented, its story is told, and a value is declared. Most of the time, things go exactly as planned. But in an episode filmed for a Best of Summer collection, a segment so problematic it was held back until the fall, that predictability was shattered. A man stepped forward with an item that, at first glance, was unremarkable: a simple stencil of a rat holding a power tool. It was the kind of modern art that often gets dismissed. Yet, as the cameras began to roll, a series of invisible tripwires were activated, threatening to pull the entire segment into a legal and ethical quagmire. This wasn't just another forgotten artifact. This was an anomaly. The guest began to recount the object's origin story, and immediately the narrative veered off script. The first rule of provenance, an object's history of ownership, is that it should be clean. His was not. "How did that happen?" Rupert Moss said. I used to live in Brighton in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was walking along Brighton seafront and saw it stuck to a Lido. It looked like it was coming off, so I just pulled it off, basically." He didn't use the word stolen. He didn't have to. With that one casual admission, "I just pulled it off," the man confessed to removing a piece of public art from its intended location. The air on set grew thick with unspoken questions. The producers, with over 800 episodes of experience, suddenly found themselves in uncharted territory. They were now potentially documenting the appraisal of stolen property, live on camera. But the expert, Rupert Moss, pushed forward. There was another, more critical question to be answered. "Do you have any idea who it might be by?" This is the moment the story pivots from a minor transgression to a high-stakes gamble. The guest's demeanor shifted. The unease was replaced by a flicker of confidence, a hint that he knew far more than he had initially let on. "I know what it is. I know the year, too. It was around 2004. I'm just here to get it valued, really." And then he named the artist. An artist whose identity is the most fiercely guarded secret in the modern art world. An anonymous phantom who has turned rebellion into a multi-million-dollar industry.
He claimed it was a Banksy. Suddenly, the calculus of the situation changed entirely. This wasn't just a piece of street art, it was a potential lottery ticket. Banksy, the enigmatic graffiti artist, is a cultural phenomenon. His work, which critiques consumerism, authority, and the art world itself, sells for astronomical sums. By 2004, the year the guest claimed to have acquired the piece, Banksy was already a household name, making headlines and fetching six-figure prices at auction. The man's claim that he simply stumbled upon a loose Banksy and peeled it off a wall seemed almost too convenient. He hadn't found a forgotten relic. He had lifted the work of a living, globally famous artist, and in doing so, he had stepped into a world governed by a unique and paradoxical set of rules. Moss, the expert, knew this well. He immediately addressed the elephant in the room: proof. Rupert Moss said, "I'm not trying to lecture you, but without some kind of certificate, it's really hard to sell." He was referring to Pest Control, the oddly named company that serves as Banksy's sole authenticator. It's the artist's mechanism for controlling his own market, for separating genuine works from the legion of fakes. But Pest Control does more than just verify art. It enforces an ethos. The organization is notoriously reluctant to authenticate street pieces that have been removed from their original public context. This placed the guest in a perfect catch-22. To get the certificate that would make his artwork valuable, he would have to contact Banksy's own organization and effectively admit to taking it. He was asking the world's most famous anti-establishment artist to legitimize an act that went against the very spirit of his work. The man, however, seemed unfazed. Guest reply: "I know it's real because Banksy did a bunch of stuff in Brighton back then." But confidence alone doesn't translate to currency. Moss delivered the final, brutal valuation. Rupert Moss said, "With a certificate, it might be worth £20,000. Without it, you're nowhere. I'm sorry." £20,000 or nothing. The man was left in a state of artistic purgatory, the owner of a Schrodinger's masterpiece, simultaneously valuable and worthless. His dilemma perfectly encapsulates the chaos that follows in the wake of Banksy. To truly understand the volatile forces this man had invited into his life, you only need to look at what Banksy himself thinks of the art market he dominates. October 5, 2018. Sotheby's, one of the oldest and most prestigious auction houses on the planet. The air is electric with anticipation. The prize tonight is one of Banksy's most iconic images, Girl with Balloon. Not a street piece, but a unique version on canvas, gifted by the artist. It is the pinnacle of the art establishment, the very system Banksy's career was built to mock. The bidding is frantic, climbing past all estimates, a testament to the insatiable demand for his work.
£1 million is the bid. £1,050,000. Finally, the gavel falls. Sold for over £1 million, $1.4 million. A moment of triumph for the anonymous buyer and the auction house. But the triumph lasted only for a second. From within the ornate Victorian-style frame, a hidden mechanism activated. A row of motorized blades came to life, and the canvas began to descend, shredding itself into ribbons before a stunned audience. It was an act of breathtaking conceptual violence, a masterpiece destroyed at the exact moment it reached its peak commercial value. People were speechless, filming on their phones in disbelief. Was it a prank? A malfunction? No, it was a statement, an act of institutional sabotage planned by the artist himself. Banksy later posted a video of him building the shredder into the frame years earlier, with the caption, "The urge to destroy is also a creative urge." But in the paradoxical world of Banksy, destruction did not diminish its value, it multiplied it. The stunt became a global news event, a piece of performance art in its own right. The shredded artwork was retitled "Love is in the Bin" and authenticated by Pest Control as a new, unique piece. The buyer went through with the purchase, and experts immediately speculated that its value had at least doubled. It had become more famous, more notorious, more Banksy than ever before. This event, along with projects like his 2015 dystopian theme park, Disneyland, a family theme park unsuitable for children, cements Banksy's philosophy. He is not just an artist, he is a master manipulator of context, value, and expectation. He plays by his own rules, and a key rule is that the art is not just the image, but the story and the chaos that surround it. Which brings us back to the man on Antiques Roadshow. He didn't just pull a piece of painted metal off a wall. He unknowingly stepped into the middle of this grand, chaotic performance. He became a character in a story written by an artist who delights in upending the very notion of ownership. After the segment aired, the internet exploded with debate. Many viewers condemned the man, branding him a thief trying to profit from art meant for the public. Others contacted the Sussex police, who reportedly stated they had no records of a Banksy being stolen. Legally, he seemed to be in the clear, but ethically, he remains trapped. His artwork's fate is entirely in the hands of an artist who once shredded a $1 million painting to prove a point. Will Banksy grant the certificate, rewarding an act of appropriation? Or will he deny it, leaving the piece worthless as a silent rebuke? To this day, the answer is unknown. The man and his stenciled rat remain a footnote in the Banksy legend, a perfect symbol of the unresolved questions his art forces us to confront. What is the true value of art? Who gets to own it? And what happens when a piece of the street ends up under the bright, unforgiving lights of the Antiques Roadshow? The mystery isn't just whether the art is real. The mystery is what the artist will decide it's worth. If you enjoyed this investigation into the world of art and mystery, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We have many more stories waiting to be uncovered.